The dark side of wealth and power. The architect of some of the most ruthless business wars the world has ever seen. How did he climb to the pinnacle of capitalism? Here is the story of fragile boundaries, clever maneuvers, and a shocking rise. Witness the saga of John D. Rockefeller's empire building. He went down in history as the world's first billionaire and became one of the richest people of all time. However, Rockefeller's success is overshadowed by his use of Standard Oil to ruthlessly eliminate competitors, his influence on the government, and his view of business as a form of warfare. His character and methods earned him many enemies, leading to conflicts throughout his business life with other prominent businessmen and even U.S. presidents. However, Rockefeller's story began under much humbler circumstances. Born in 1839 to a poor farming family, he was the eldest child. In his small town, his father, known as Devil Bill, was the most mysterious person around. Bill frequently abandoned the family, sneaking out of town at midnight and disappearing for weeks, even months at a time. Upon his return, he would bring toys and gifts for his children, both surprising and confusing young John. Bill's mysterious absences were actually due to his other identity, as Dr. William Livingston, under which he committed fraud. Traveling from town to town, he sold ineffective herbal remedies to patients. During Bill's absences, John's mother would have him work on the farm. At just 10 years old, John was performing heavy labor, learning discipline and work ethic. During this time, he once stole turkey eggs from the forest to provide extra income for his family. John D. Rockefeller entered the business world at a young age, having already gained the discipline and determination that would lead him to great commercial success. His entry into business life began 2 months before graduating from high school, when he started looking for a job. Despite interviewing with many major firms in Cleveland, Ohio, he was often rejected due to his young age. However, his persistence eventually earned him a position in accounting. Rockefeller started working as an accountant at Hewitt & Tuttle, a brokerage firm. Here, he honed his accounting skills while learning the inner workings of the business world. He celebrated his first day on the job as Job Day, marking it annually, because it was a turning point for him. This job provided him with valuable experience in managing financial transactions, debts, and credits. Impressed by Rockefeller's love for the job and his flawless execution, the management at Hewitt & Tuttle gave him an additional task: collecting debts owed to the company. This task helped Rockefeller develop the psychological speaking skills that would greatly benefit his future career. After working as an assistant apprentice at Hewitt & Tuttle for 3 months, he earned $16 in the first month, $31 in the second, and $58 in the third, continuing at $58 by the end of the year. Rockefeller told a fellow accounting colleague that he had 2 major goals: to own $100,000 and to live to be 100 years old. In 1859, Rockefeller, together with his partner, Maurice B. Clark, raised $4,000 in capital to enter the produce commission business. Clark took the first step by asking John for $2,000 in addition to his own money. However, at that time, John had only saved $800, so he borrowed $2,000 from his father Bill at 10% interest. Rockefeller steadily overcame this challenge, progressed, and started earning more money than he ever had in his past career. As the American Civil War broke out, John and Clark entered the food commission business and supplied the Union Army with vast amounts of food and supplies. So much so that the Clark and Rockefeller duo made a profit of $4,400 in their first year and $17,000 in their second. While his brother Frank was fighting, John managed the business and paid a substitute soldier $300 a month to take his place. However, Rockefeller's real turning point came with his entry into the oil industry. At that time, oil was mostly consumed in the form of kerosene, which was derived from whale oil and used as fuel for lamps. The discovery of oil in Pennsylvania in 1859 caused a boom in this industry. Seizing this new opportunity, Rockefeller established his first oil refinery in Cleveland in 1863. This move marked the beginning of his and Standard Oil's rise. In 1866, Rockefeller's brother William established another refinery in Cleveland, and involved his older brother John. In 1867, financier Henry Morrison Flagler joined the company, and the firm of Rockefeller, Andrews and Flagler was established. By 1868, Rockefeller had turned his profits into investments or had various firms indebted to him. John wanted the refinery's byproducts to be evaluated according to their applications, seeking help from chemist Samuel Andrews. The company gradually took ownership of refineries in Cleveland and set up a major marketing organization in New York, becoming the largest oil company in the world at the time. On January 10, 1870, John D. Rockefeller left the partnership with Andrews and Flagler to establish his company under the name Standard Oil of Ohio. Soon after, Rockefeller became not only Ohio's most profitable refiner, but also one of the country's largest oil and kerosene carriers. The high cost of transporting oil across the country greatly annoyed John. After much effort, John managed to take control of the railways, refusing to transport his competitors' oil on his railways, thereby causing them losses. Using his marketing knowledge, John offered large discounts of up to 50% to customers who bought large volumes of oil. Thus, he drew the customers of rival oil companies to himself and drove those companies to bankruptcy. In the early years of the 20th century, public discomfort with the dominance of Standard Oil turned into open hostility, fueled by media and political figures who criticized Rockefeller for his monopolistic practices. In 1882, Rockefeller and his partners formed the Standard Oil Trust to centralize their companies further. This structure was created to avoid various state laws and more effectively manage different sections of the company. In 1911, the U.S. Supreme Court ruled that Standard Oil had formed a monopoly and violated antitrust laws. This decision ordered the company to be split into 34 separate companies. Paradoxically, this split turned into a financial success for Rockefeller. When shares of each company were offered to the public, Rockefeller's assets significantly increased due to investors' intense interest in these new companies. John D. Rockefeller passed away in 1937 at the age of 97, leaving behind not only a vast fortune, but also a complex legacy. His influence continues to be discussed today through his philanthropic activities and roles in the business world.